Sister Sylvie, once again, I'm very honored to be here with you having these conversations about the topic of parental alienation. And of course, it's a global phenomenon. It's not only a local issue, it's not a, let's say, a cultural issue of any particular region, but it's something that is in the human being. For some reason or the other, it is a natural reaction, let's say, that comes about sometimes. And we are looking at the effects as well as the causes. And one thing that came across from my previous episode was that people who reconcile after a period of parental alienation, so two people have separated and they have alienated the child from their parent, the other parent, and of course what goes along with that is the manipulation of information. So they will say, okay, well, your father or your mother is this kind of person. They are not good. They are whatever they are using to keep the child from that parent. And then it may be a few years later that the parents get back together. Now, I could imagine that to a child it is confusing, to say the least. What do you think is the effect that it will have on children, and what do you think needs to happen? Now, in the previous episode we covered where you have, okay, people who have genuinely reconciled, they are genuinely apologized and forgiven, and then there are those who have not. There are those who have for reasons other than forgiveness have come back together, so financial or legal or what have you. So what needs to happen in terms of the children? What needs to take place?
Yes. So, especially in these situations, children become very, very sensitive. Sensitive means they are fully aware, very much aware of what is happening between these two parents. They could sense every emotion, every feeling that especially a mother is going through. Of course, they can feel the father also. They know when things are not right between them because they can feel everything. Even though parents may not be verbally telling their children anything, even that silence, that verbal silence, is telling them a lot. They know if their parents are not speaking in the home, then they know that there's something wrong between these two. And they could feel that there is tension. Children, in those situations, become very well aware of the situation. They know that there is problem brewing. Brewing means that there is something cooking up. But they cannot do, they are like helpless. Children, especially if they are small, they're helpless, they don't know what to do. So here they are being fed with all these vibrations and energies that parents are sending to them unknowingly, which means the parents are not willfully or intentionally sending them the vibration, but the mere fact that parents are not speaking to each other verbally, there is tension both sides. She is thinking, he is like that, don't know why he don't change, why he came back to this house, and he may be thinking, against her also so many things. Why she went and make all these set of children, now who will take care of them? I have to work and take care of them. So both sides, there's all these negative thoughts. And the children feel as though they are the victims in the middle. This is how the children feel. They feel as though they are the victims. They feel at some point like they were the reason. They are the cause for their parents' problem. So they start feeling guilty also. They feel guilty because they are there, and because of them, parents are having this discord. this conflict. Children do feel guilty also, especially if both sides are saying, this is your child, you have to take care of him also. Because they do say those kinds of things. And the husband might say, well, you make them, you take care of them. Yeah. When there is these verbal conflicts, verbal, what you call that, display or verbal slashings, beatings, you understand what I mean? Each throwing words, throwing words at each other. And the children are listening to all of this. Husband is telling wife, well, you made the children, you take care of them. Why I have to work and take care of them? They are your children. Can you imagine what is going through the mind of that child at that time? He feels as though he is the cause for his father and mother conflict, or separation, or the hurts and the feel, or whatever they are going through. He feels as though his father is like disowning him. Father is saying that is your child, you take care of him, you make him. What will that child think? My father is talking as though he is not my father. And they speak like this when they are under the influence of something. Could be alcohol or substance abuse and so on. They speak like that. Some even without that, they speak like this. So these children in these situations are also in pain. They are hurting, they are suffering, but they cannot say anything. They cannot do anything. They are helpless. So much hurt and so much pain is happening in the mind of this child. Simply seeing how his mother is suffering, or simply looking how his father is suffering also, and cannot do anything about it. So who is causing so much hurt and pain to others? And each one will blame the other. Father blames the mother for the child suffering, and mother blames the father for the child suffering. No one takes the responsibility for their actions. And this is also another problem. Everyone blames the other, and no one takes responsibility. No one accepts that, yes, this is my part also in the child's upbringing. Whatever the child is going through, I am part of that. That my words are also causing pain to this child. Maturity is, I could see the result of my actions. And maturity means I could change that. Which means I am not going to say things in front of my child so that my child will suffer. A mature couple, even though there may be differences of opinion or problems between them, they will try their best and not to display any kind of sorrow or hurt or pain in a verbal way in front of their kids. A mature couple. But they will try to talk it out separately, not in the presence of the children. Because you have to understand that these children pick up everything. Let's say the couple wants to talk separately and they tell the children, well, mom and dad is going to have a chat. So you all could stay outside for some time or stay in your rooms. Now that simple warning or advice that you give the child will send a message to his mind. What are they going to talk about? So even though the child may be in his room doing whatever he could, his mind, his attention would be on mother and father. What are they talking about? His mind will not be at ease. So you have to understand the sensitivity of the child's mind at that time. When there is tension in the home, when there is conflict between partners, who suffers the most? Not the partners, Children suffer the most. Because these children are seeing both parents. Whereas both parents are looking at each other. They have one person in their mind. Children are seeing both. And so who suffers the most? It's the children. Now my advice to children is also, once you are aware that, okay, your mother and father are going to, or having issues, they're going through whatever phase in their life, you understand that that could be temporary also. And anybody could have problems in a relationship. One thing is to sit, deal with it, come to a conclusion, find some solution. And the mature couples will find a solution, find a way to deal with it. And do not involve your children in your conflicts. That's one of the worst things. Which means, in order to get to the spouse, any one of the spouse, you use your child. What happens is that when the father will tell the child, go and tell your mother so and so. And then the mother will tell the same child, well, you go and tell him I said so and so. So this child, end up in the middle, like a bridge between these two. That could be very frustrating for that child. If that child don't know how to take it. But if the children understand, okay, they are growing up. They are seeing how their parents are living. You learn from it. Learn from it means, if you know that your father is wrong in some way or the other, talk to yourself and assure yourself that you are not going to make that same mistake. But tell yourself, I'm going to do better. I always give the example of the alcoholic father. I'm not sure if you remember. The alcoholic father who had 2 sons. And one of his sons came out to be an alcoholic and the other did not. So when both of them were asked, well, why did you come out like this? So the alcoholic one said, I looked at my father. And the one who was non-alcoholic also said, I looked at my father. So both of them are looking at their father, but both of them learn 2 different lessons. So mistakes are not to be repeated. You should not learn a mistake from someone else, but you learn from the mistake and you do not repeat it. Do not do the same thing. This is called learning. This is called maturity. So in these kinds of problem, this kind of tense setting in the home needs a lot of maturity to see what is happening and how to deal with it. And some children could be, you have a mature mindset from even small. Mature mindset means they understand what is happening to parents, both parents. And you find sometimes some children advising their parents, Young children have ability to advise their parents how to live. Well, mother, father, that is not the way to talk to mother, for example. Or they will tell their mother that is not the way to treat the father. Why not? So even parents could learn from children. And children also should learn from the parents. Which means, if you see your father speaking rough to your mother, you tell yourself, I am never going to be like that. Talk to yourself, I will not do the same thing. Because what happens to these children learn from seeing their parents, Parents are the first teachers to their children. So here I am in a setting where my parents have a problem. What is my duty as a child? If I am wise enough, if I have that understanding, and if I could help the situation in whatever way I can, I should. Whether it is consoling my mother, consoling my father, And even if they say things that you may not like as a child, forgive them. Why? Because if either the mother or the father is experiencing some kind of hurt or pain, emotional pain, in that pain, they will say things that may not be pleasant. Forgive them. And as you start forgiving, you will start healing. Anyone could burst out when they are in pain. And if you are in pain and you burst out, you're going to give pain to others. But an understanding child would know and would understand that my mother is suffering or my father is suffering. If he scolds me whilst he is suffering, I forgive him because I understand he's suffering. Anyone could be suffering, but in a problematic relationship, everyone suffers.
Now that's for the, let's say, the children or the child who is looking at this. And by child, we can also refer to people in, well, teenagers, or people who are even adults who grew up in a situation where the parents are like that, where they're people who came back together after being separated and probably have not really forgiven each other. But what about the parent who may have a child who is, let's say, what they commonly call acting up? Acting up can be a child who doesn't speak, for example, who is always sulking or seems depressed, or a child who is being violent or aggressive. There can be many forms. But in this particular scenario we are talking about is parents who came back together and the child is being affected, and the parent may be noticing signs that the child, something is wrong. I guess as a parent you should know. Otherwise, there's more, well, that's a sure sign. If you don't know, then that's a sure sign that you have to look at your parenting style, I guess. So the parent is noticing that the child is acting strangely. Firstly, what signs are there that the child is looking at the parent and being affected? And how should they approach it in a sense of healing?
Okay. So yes, so you have a child in your home who is looking at you at every step and is being mentally and emotionally affected by your behaviors or by the behavior of the other parent. And this child does not know how to verbally express himself, so he acts up. He's acting up. He may be violent. And you see children like that, you know. They will just pelt things, throw down things, and be, you know, rebellious. So let's say your child is in this rebellious mood because he's upset, he's angry. Reason why is that parents are having issues, and whilst they are having their own issues, they are not able to give this child the love, the attention that this child needs at this time. So this child, of course, is acting up. He is rebelling because he needs the attention of both parents. But these both parents are trying to solve their own issues. They are having issues, so they cannot give love and support and care to anyone else. So this child is in a mess, let's call it so. The duty of the parent at this time, if they can, because once they are not healed, they will not understand how to heal this child. So this child is in this situation where he is always violent, whether it's to himself or to others. The parents have to understand that this child needs help. And the first thing they do is they say, well, we have to take him to a psychologist. That's the first thing they do. Because they don't want to understand or don't seem to understand that their behavior is affecting this child. So they decide or they feel that this child needs to see a psychiatrist or psychologist because he is not in his right frame of mind. Something is not right with him. Failing to realize that this child is actually reflecting what he is being fed with. Which means if he sees that his parents are violent and his parents are non-caring, this is what he is doing to call their attention, to get their attention. Any child that you see that is acting up, that is rebellious, that is an attention seeker, as we say, attention seeker means that this child is crying out for love. It's crying out for attention. Any child that is acting up is a child that is seeking love. And love is a positive emotion that heals. Love heals. If someone is being fed with love, that one would be happy. And that's why there is a saying, happiness is the best medicine. Because once you're happy, you're generating and producing happy energy. That means your thoughts will be all positive. Happiness means that you are all positive, you're receiving the love, you're at peace, everything is good for you. So you will then produce that pure positive energy that will then heal you. So, the moment you see that your child is not the way you expect him to be, understand that that child also needs attention, needs love, he needs healing. And so I now invite you to a small reflection. Well, we can take a look at the mind of this child who is not getting the love, the attention, the acceptance that he needs. So whilst I sit in this calm and peaceful state of mind, I take a look at myself first and see how am I internally. Am I at peace with myself? Am I happy with myself? Because only when I am at peace, only when I am happy, will I be able to give peace and to give happiness to anyone else. If I am happy, I will be able to spread love. I'll be able to give others the attention, the appreciation, and whatever they seek. I visualize my child who is in pain in front of me. And this child is suffering from all the tension, all the stress that is in the atmosphere. And this child is reacting to this negative energy. I understand what is happening in the mind of this child. I begin to understand that this child simply needs my love and my attention. And so I, as a parent, if I can put aside or leave behind me, just for a short while, all my tensions, my problems, and my worry, and I take my child into my arms and give that child the love, the attention, and the acceptance that that child needs to heal himself. And whilst I am with this child, I tell the child that I am okay. I will be fine. That all problems are temporary. We'll get this over. And we'll be a happy family once again. By feeding the situation with such positive thoughts and positive energies, I will be on the way to heal the relationships, to heal the situation. Meditations and reflections help me to have a better understanding, not only of myself, but also about others and on the situation that is there before us. Simply taking time out, sitting aside and putting the situation in front of me, I can find a solution to it. I put myself behind the problems as though I am looking at the problem from a far distance. And from a far distance, as a detached observer, I can see all the characters in the play. And I can figure out from a distance what it is that is needed to heal this situation, to correct the problem, to heal the problem, and to move on. In a calm and silent state of mind, I will find a solution to every problem. Thank you.
Sampex Limited, networking societies for a better future.